Hey everyone, OTC here. I'm going to go through a mirrored hall level 500 delve with potions. You might notice I had to put this thing at about 150% speed, and if you want to slow it down, you can do it on YouTube. But basically, just jumped right in. I think I only had one or two power potions going, or two or three going, and started off with the queen, doppelganger, and the copycat as my troops. And basically the thought here is you've only got really two attackers. You might as well use them as best you can in the early rounds because you know your first troop's probably going to die. So the first thing I did is go after that glass golem in the front, got rid of that thing, and you're going to hope the copycat creates a copy of something, because when it does, it shows up much weaker. You'll see the attack is much less. That'll save your first troop quite a bit. And as you see, I lost mine, so I'm going to use my copycat on the queen. Hopefully, in here it took me two chances to get her up. So you do want to keep your copycat in the first room always, as full as you can. And then here, obviously, luckily they missed on yellow, so I'm just trying to look for the best yellows I can find. And we just kind of go back and forth here for a bit. Like I said, I like the team mirrored queen, doppelganger, copycat, mirrored queen. And then in this case, I'm just going after the mirror queen because I don't want her to copy any of my troops as best I can, of course. Then she gets shot off and hits. So the copycat, you can see, made a copycat, but their attack is only level 40, and then that first copycat cast, and then the second copycat now has an attack of 7. So you can see they just keep getting weaker. So there's a good chance that first one, I believe, does kill my second mirrored queen in here. But again, I just keep going. You try and kill all the high level ones first. I think I made a mistake there by killing the first one, but you kill all the ones with the 130 attack first, and then let them make weaker copies of themselves, and those ones you can actually, so there goes mine. I use my copycat on the mirrored queen, try and get the mirrored queen up again, because I need her to do some damage. Of course, I missed the 4 match there. Again, this is a very long video. It took me an hour and 15 minutes, I think, and like I said, I sped it up a little bit. But you can see what happens. It just keeps going and going back and forth. I keep copying using copycat on the mirrored queen, hoping to get myself a good copy. And you can see their side just can't do anything. There we go. So now we get two attackers up, and then basically just try and wait them out. They keep just looping themselves, as you can see. Extra turn, filling each other. Just sit there and wait your turn, and when you get 2 of them up, again, you attack single one when you can, and just kind of keep going at them. Hopefully they can give you a couple turns here and there. Like I said, this first room is just, it is brutal. It's very tough. But it's not hard to get out of. It's just long and time consuming, so you might want to pause it, go get yourself a snack or something, or a cold drink, because you see there we're down to 2, and it's going to be back up to 3 soon. But you can see the first one only has 3 attack, because the second one's creating those copies, and they're just really weak. So like I said, just focus on getting rid of the originals. And once you get rid of the originals, you can see the first one just doing skull damage for 3. It's never going to get through your first troop. It's going to take forever. So again, they just let them go back and forth here. I'd like to say this gets a little better, but it doesn't. It keeps going, and the whole point is it just shows how ridiculous doing the mirrored fraction, the mirrored hall fraction only is. And again, I just decided to go with potions, and the enchantment and all the extra potions you get really helps speed this one up. And there we go, last one's finally dead. So here you just gotta wait till you get lucky. Again, try and get both your both your mirrored queens up. And once that actually happens, then you can just start knocking them off one by one. And again, just go after the strongest one based on their attack. Or if one's full and one's not, just go after whoever has full mana. Like I said, here I don't even try and attack until I have 2 attackers up and the copycat up. So boom, get rid of one. And they create another one. Like there's got to be a 4 match there, and there was. Again, take skulls, that helps. And then, see, like I said, you just knock them down one by one. Follow whoever has mana. This one could probably create 4 more copies. We got lucky it didn't. Use that. And boom, finally out of the room. Yay! And the other thing is scout ahead. Your second room's really going to make a big difference. So I got stuck with the Iron Gate, and the Dwarven Gate is what I was going to use as my kind of my whole strategy here. So the Doppelganger, I'm going to use that on the Dwarven Gate because that's what I want as my primary troops. So here I figured get the copycat up. And the reason I want the Dwarven Gate is because it barriers all your allies. So here I'm just trying to figure out this, and again I'm trying to figure out the strategy as I go, because it was a new fraction and wasn't really sure exactly what the best moves would be. So, you know, in retrospect, you really want to get that copycat kind of given mana. I mean, to your Dwarven Gate, because that will give mana and barriers. But the other thing I want to do too is get that, try to go after ladies to get her armor less than my armor, so she won't do 3 times damage. Lord, you don't have to worry about, because he only has he only does that to reds, so not a big deal. And of course here is, I'm just scrambling for anything here because, and luckily lady hit my Dwarven Gate that actually had a little bit more armor than she did. And here's where I'm going to go with a copycat to try and copy my own troop. Didn't work, that's okay. Again here I already got barriers on 2 of them, so I'm going to hit lady just because again I want to get her armor to a place where her damage won't be lethal. That was the only reason I really did it. I probably kind of forgot that it was going to create a copy. I was like, yeah, whatever, we'll just see what we can do. She of course won't do any damage to anyone, so we'll just take something else and let her die, and then create a copy of the Dwarven Gate, hopefully. So again, like I said, I'm trying to figure this out as I go too, like what the best moves are. Like I said, here I'm just like thinking let her die. You know, get some blues in, let her die, and use the copycat on the Dwarven Gate, and then, yep, cast on the Dwarven Gate. There we go. And I get nothing. So I'm thinking to myself, my God, when am I going to get this second Dwarven Gate up? Because you really need that second one because the Dwarven Gate doesn't barrier itself. You need 2, one to barrier each other. We've all seen those annoying PvP teams, 3 Dwarven Gates and the you know, King High Forge and other variations of it. There we go. We finally got my second Dwarven Gate. Now I actually can get mana in this thing. So, and you'll see how it goes once we get this rolling. And his Dwarven Gate gets up, which is mildly annoying, but again, I can only work on myself and what I can do, so we just got to keep rolling with this. Had to take skulls there just because I had nothing else. Figured here again, take the Dwarven Gate, keep everyone going, give them some mana. Of course, had I thought about it better, I would have used a +1 barrier, +1 banner for blue, knowing that I'm going to have to go in and just basically use all the blue mana I can here. Again, I'm just trying to, you can see where the first one, or the second one casts and gives the first one the barrier, then you cast the other one. Now all of the team has barriers. I know it's a little hard to see because it's going really fast, but you definitely can see that everyone has a barrier, which is kind of what you want. And again, in fighting games, this would be called turtling, basically, because we're just going really slow. But I wait till I have multiple barriers on both my troops. On all my troops, and each Dwarven Gate barriers the other one, and then you just slowly just start going after the first Dwarven Gate. Again, it's a very slow process. That's why I have to speed this up. But like I said, you just keep taking your time and using the copycat on blue, which of course the Dwarven Gate uses blue, which then gives barriers to everyone else and mana, which you don't want. And I just can't keep chipping away at his Dwarven Gate. And you will see nice things like that happen sometimes. Like I said, I'm just trying to get barriers on both of them. And he keeps casting himself, which keeps giving himself armor. But again, whether it's skulls, whether it's whether it's a Mirrored Queen's attack, you just keep going after him little by little. Of course, then you get Apothecary converting blue, which sucks, but it happens. Again, it's always a good idea to keep your copycat. If you think one of them, like right now, you can see I'm kind of down. First two don't have barriers on them. You kind of want to make sure your copycat or your mirrored queen is up so that you can replicate the troops when needed. It's all just because, again, a shot or two from Lady or Lord could kill one of your troops, and you want to make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah, I think here I probably just got so bored of this I had to take a break and actually do something interesting. Okay, mouse moved again. So again, some of the stuff you want to make sure you don't make a big mistake. Skulls don't really hurt you too much. He does just about 100 damage, and again you can see it take 3 skull hits to kill my first the first one, so it's not terrible. And he just keeps kind of getting a little bit of mana, here we go again. Get barriers, get a little mana. Come on, you get purple and yellow there. Should have taken that. But like I said, I'm really trying to be very conservative on how I do this, meaning all I want to do is make sure that my guys, everyone gets barriers, and when it's free and clear, take a shot at their Dwarven Gate. And like I said, it's a long process, but it's the safest one I could think of. And you can see they like shooting. And I've done this. I've done a couple other second rooms in the mirrored halls, and a lot of people have looked for Fenrir, because he can buff and he gets double attack and life for beast, and basically just create monsters on your team and get some skull damage. You can take people down with those, so that's definitely one tactic. Like I said, I just happened to get this room, so this was the tactic I went with. You can see now, even though 2 of their side has barriers, slowly just going to go one by one and chip away. Lord goes first. Just keep going. Probably should hit Lady pretty soon because she's got 160. She only gets like 5 armor every time she casts, but it builds up because she's casted so many times at this point. I just want to make sure she doesn't slip a shot through on one of my bottom 2 troops and knocks them out with 3 times damage. Again, that could be lethal. But for now, we're just happy, just kind of chipping away and just keeping. Like I said, you just go one by one and don't get fancy, and it just happens. Like I said, I would definitely not the fastest method probably people will come up with, but this is a very tough fraction to all fraction team. It really depends on your second room. Like I said, the worms are would be tough. I mean, the hard thing is in the worm room where you have your the blue and the brown worm, and then you have the cockatrice who drains and entangles you, and then of course you have an impervious troop first. That would be the ideal setup for you, would be take the cockatrice, and if you could get the brown worm. But the problem is, again, that first troop isn't, you can drain an impervious troop's mana, but you can't entangle them, so you're still you can still get hit with skulls pretty easily. The cockatrice does double damage versus entangled troops, so that's a really nice benefit. Again, I think I probably had to get up and go to the bathroom because we're like 25-30 minutes in here at this point. But like I said, the big thing is, some people may not know, but when you go into a delve, you can scout ahead to the different rooms. I would highly recommend, like I said, looking at the second room and trying to go after some of the better rooms, thinking about which troops you're going to be able to copy and use on your own, whether it's with the Doppelganger or the Mirrored Queen, because again, she has a chance to make a copy of her own team. And like I said, in this case, I wanted 2 copies of the Dwarven Gate, so using the copycat really helped. I do like the troop because it A, can copy a troop, and B, creates mana, so it's a really nice troop to have for support. But again, if it doesn't have if the troops it can copy doesn't have high utility like itself, it's kind of useless. You just pass the mana hoping for skull damage, and that's not really a winning strategy. I wouldn't say this strategy is really winning either. You can see how long it's taking me to do this. But again, we're slowly getting Lord Ironbeard down. I'm impressed if any of you lasted this long. I'm impressed that I actually lasted this long. Like I said, here where they're going to do about 100 damage to you, you start thinking about skulls versus doing something else. And like I said, at this point, my second Dwarven Gate's got 1,000 armor, so I feel pretty comfortable that one's going to stick around for a while, so I can go be a little looser with him. But the first one, you still want to deal with the thing getting destroyed, and then them getting shots off another one. So I just like I said, just keep playing the same slow, conservative way. Don't rush. Hopefully you got nowhere to go. Could be a rainy or snowy or cold day or something where you're going to stay inside, and that's when you get this done, especially, like I said, on a Tuesday where they do fraction events. You're going to need this. Like I said, I've seen other people do probably faster ones with buffing troops. The other one too is the room with Gluttony in it, because Gluttony has a 20% chance to devour. It's another really good troop to use if you can copycat that. Obviously Mr. Brown 4 there, and again we got 2 down, 2 to go. Should go a little faster now, but again I keep creating blue and they use blue, which is nice. In the next room they don't, other than the Doppelganger, doesn't use blue. None of the other troops use blue, so once that thing casts, it should be pretty good from there. But for now, we'll just you can see it keeps going, and you just keep, like I said, whittling away at troops one by one, and just taking little dinks and dunks here, and trying to keep my Dwarven Gates barriered, and letting their side kind of just do whatever they want, as long as I can just keep popping, hitting them once or twice. And like I said, the reason you need two gates is that the Dwarven Gate, while it does give itself armor, and it only gives barrier and mana to other troops, not itself. So that's why, like I said, I decided to go with 2 in this run. Again, very slow strategy, but it's got me the win eventually. But I'm just glad I don't have to do this again. The other interesting one too is the room with the Shadow Hunter, because it does damage. I did try that before this because that was my second room, and I was able to kill, I think, 2 troops in the second room, and then it was like a couple Skyfall skulls and a couple bad things happened, but the multiplier was insane. It was doing 500 multiplier because it's based on all the allies' life, so it was a pretty good troop to copy if you can keep it and with a copycat you can keep it fed with blue and purple. So it's a like I said, it's a pretty good troop. And also in that room 2 troops are stealthy, so you can't use the Doppelganger or the mirrored queen on them, so that's probably those 2 one of your better options. The other troop in there, the dragon, does AoE 100 AoE damage, so it's not a bad troop to consider. But like I said, this is just this is the second room I got, and you just have to come up with a strategy. And again, I'm sure people will post some decent strategies here, but the general consensus from what a lot of people seem like is they really don't like this fraction, and you can see why. I mean, we are now pretty long into this, and I'm just starting to see some positive movement. I missed another 4 green there. Good job. Probably go a little faster when we get in those, but like I said, I'm just at this point. I knew I was going to win this room, and I just wanted to keep going slow and steady and not make a mistake, and have something to convert to brown, and I don't know, have lady start sniping troops or something. I don't know. So we're going to get lady down first. I decided going after her was a better move, apparently. She is your damage dealer, so 2 skull hits back to back, and she also has damage reduction on her skull damage, so it makes more sense to hit her with magic and leave the skulls for Apothecary, who has none. So I guess there is some logic to that. Yep. There we go. Of course, they get some Skyfall, and look at this, down to under 100. Why am I not shooting Mirrored Queen? The hell was I thinking? Probably just didn't notice it. There we go, dead. Okay. Alright, so then we go to the final room. There is no way at this point I was doing any other room. Again, you only have 1 real attacker here, the Mirrored Queen. So my whole thing was, let's try and get again, same thing, completely missed those reds. Get the Dwarven Gates up, get them some decent, get them some armor, get them some barriers, make sure my copycats are healthy, or is full, so that I can copy one of them if I need to. Even the Mirrored Queen, I mean, I'm going to use her against the other Mirrored Queens. You can see I'm just going after her solely. And of course, the Doppelganger duplicates my Mirrored Queen. I was so pissed that happened. Could have been another copycat or something stupid. But anyway, so I got to deal with that, which is just more attack, coming at me. So I didn't even worry about I didn't even worry about the glass golem. I just figured the thing's just going to keep giving itself armor. I mean, whatever. I figured I'd get to it when I got to it, and just keep. Unfortunately, I forgot that uses blue too, but I figured just keep going with, trying to get these 2 Mirrored Queens down and kill them, and that was more my there's 4 yellow, keep going after them, and that would be, if I can get rid of the Mirrored Queens, that would be the ideal situation, because again, they're the ones that attack me, and hopefully that copycat would make a copy of either herself or the golem, who doesn't really do much. And we just keep kind of going here, and like I said, this is, I know it's tough, but this is what you got to do, in this room at least. And here's where, like I said, at that point my gate is uncovered. Taking a couple big skull hits could really hurt, so I decided, just take the skulls. You see I did that back to back. Got lucky, the copycat completely missed there. And like I said, you just kind of look at, you throw the gate, when's it a good time to throw the gate, when's a good time not to. Depends on who needs mana, who needs armor, who needs a barrier, if you see a skull hit coming. So, of course, there we go. And that golem, it's kind of weird, and like it explodes if it hits a skull. Obviously, it's going to break your barrier even with 1 damage, which is kind of pain. But it is what it is. Here I'm just trying to figure out how I can get rid of all the skulls. If I just take 1 shot, again, I really don't want to give up a skull damage, or take skull damage. I mean, I know the gate has. I know I can make a copy of it, but you really don't want to. You want to take as little damage as possible, and I don't want to try and scramble it, because once you lose 1, it's a good chance you start losing more than 1. And again, you come this far, you just want to see it. You want to win. And like I said, I know the gate has damage reduction, but 255. I mean, the guy's gonna be hitting me for 120, a little over 120. I feel a little better now that the first gate's got 500 armor and 140 life. So hopefully I was smart enough here to start using the copycat a little bit on going up here. Oh, that one come on, there's 4 red. It doesn't matter. Still go after the yellow. And again, we're just slowly chipping away. You can see that second mirrored queen is slowly going down. I mean, we're never getting that glass golem down. It's going to take forever. Again, in hindsight, probably should have been a little more aggressive with the first gate. Let it kind of take a few more skull hits, because again, it only does 100. But like I said, you kind of come this far, you just want to get this thing over with. So again, you play conservative. Like I said, did I start? I think I hit the golem once or twice here, the glass golem. But like I said, the general thought here should be go after the. Again, and here I need barriers, especially on the first guy. You just pass give some mana to each other, give some barriers to each other. Like I said, you can see I'm kind of trying to go a little more for the mirrored queen now. First guy is kind of getting down there with health. I think I'm just getting frustrated at this point. There we go. I think the strategy is to see how long I can live with just a barrier instead of me just buffing it up. Yeah, take that. Second one's going slowly. So we've see, like right there, instead of decided just to take the take some yellows and go and try and copycat the the mirrored queen, get her full. I have no idea what I'm thinking here, but probably looking for some blues or something. Oh, because if I take the blues, it'll leave skull hit. So I figured might as well just cast. There's a skull hit that he left me. So I figured I'd take it and get some yellows. Take some blues whenever they're on the board. Our friend there, the mirrored queen, is slowly coming down. It will happen eventually. Like I said, hopefully you're on your second beer by now, or whatever cocktail that you like, because this is not exactly the fastest moving team. And let's see. So again, second one's down, but like I said, as soon as I kill her, that second troop, it's going to get it's going to come up again. So in this case, you want to make sure you don't kill it before that fourth one shot, because the fourth one make a copy of your troop, which you don't want. You want the copycat to make a weaker copy of something, whatever it is. Of course, see the glass golem now is 1,000 armor. Yeah, to be expected. We'll deal with that when we have to. The nice thing about the glass golem is it only gets 25% skull reduction, not 50, like the gate. And come on, all I need is one more shot on that second one, and I will kill it. Come on, and you see where the second one has 4 blue mana instead of 5. That's where, like I said, having that +1 blue would have been a really good would have been a really good idea, instead of using a purple yellow banner. I only say it because, again, that way when you take a that was rough. That way it's more likely you have 5 mana, so when you cast, then you get another 5. So it'd be really nice to. You can see my teams keep having 9 and 4. And 4 yellow. Good cake. Okay, now kill the second one. I could probably cast that, but kill the second. What did I just do? Oh man. Oh, that's right. I know what I'm doing now. Yeah, I'm going after the last one because I want to keep it a full deck and try and kill both mirrored queens. That's what I was thinking. Obviously, I recorded this without any audio because I didn't know if I'd win or not. So that's why I'm doing the audio now. And yes, that is the strategy. I apologize. I should have mentioned that. Is keep the first one within a lethal damage range, and then the fourth mirrored queen, we're just going to try and get her down as well and kill them both back to back, so that the copycat cannot copy her, or the mirrored queen can't get a shot off and again copy another mirrored queen and just create this big problem for us. So like I said, this stupid, instead of the second mirrored queen, if they would have just made some other troop, it'd be much more helpful to me, but they didn't. So here we are. No, take the purples, take the purples. Missed that. Again, I think I was probably getting tired at this point. I don't know. Can't make any excuses for my poor play in some spots, but again, we're on almost an hour now, I think, in real time. Again, this is all sped up, but as you can see, the two Dwarven Gate is effective, just very slow. We now have the second. Of course, they keep hitting the Dwarven Gates, which I guess is good because those are kind of expendable. If I lost the mirrored queen, I'd just quit and start over, because I mean you're not going to kill anything. The copycat can only make copies of itself, of your troops, so it's really kind of bad here. Miss those 4 browns as well. I feel like I'm just looking for the colors that I need, and if I don't see them, I just say screw it and go on. That sucked. That completely missed on that one. Gave a lot of purples to the other team. Alright, so that was nice. Cast gets us both up. And then here's where you gotta get close, because it depends on how many. The mirrored queen, she gets a multiplier based on reflected allies, so you gotta be careful. I don't think I need 2 more shots on the bottom one to kill her. And like I said, you want to make sure that one of them isn't full, because if you kill one and then the mirrored queen fires, then boom, you're dead. So now we got to scramble and get this other one up. Take the yellow and let them hit you with skulls, or do that, or the green. And now I think I was trying to swipe fill rather than try and cast the copycat. I was trying to weigh my options here. I went with blue so that there wouldn't be a ton of yellow or purples on the board, and try and use the try and use the Dwarven Gates to get her up rather than let the mirrored queen. Yep, cast on the mirrored queen. There we go. So that was the strategy: is kill both those. Now the copycat can only copy the glass golem herself, So really they can't fight back other than skulls at this point, which is nice. So I'm probably going to be, so I just start pushing the, the yellows and purples more. And you can see the second glass column has 63 attack, which is less and does, I think I show it, but it goes so fast, it gives itself less armor. So again, we just start chipping away at the first one. Actually, I can't remember if I go for the first one or go for the copycat. Now I think I go for the copycat because you want to make sure it has no more copycat won't create any more troops, whereas the glass golem can kill it. It's just you're gonna keep getting the same. You're gonna keep getting weaker troops, but they keep coming up. So yeah, I go after the here's where we go after the copycat, who of course has 1,000 health, and I'm hitting for 80 to 95 here. So it just takes a lot of time to get through it. And again, the whole time I'm trying to keep that first troop alive, because I don't want to. I don't want bad things to start happening to my troops here. Come this, like I said, you come this far, and it's unlikely the second troop would die. Again, I feel like in hindsight, once my second Dwarven Gate got 1,000, in this scenario, where it got 1,000 armor, I probably should have just let the first one die and start using the copycat on the second one more often. Even using the mirrored queen on the glass golem if I really needed to, get a troop up. But like I said, it got me this far, so I'm just kind of keep going with what I got. And again, here's where stupid Dwarven Gate has 9 instead of 10. Like I said, that +1 would have been really helpful. Every chance I get, I'm going to kill. Oh, thank you for giving me that. Every chance I get, I'm going to take a shot at that copycat. You can see here I'm pushing a lot more, trying to get yellows and purples, using copycat on the mirrored queen. Not worrying about the first Dwarven Gate as much, but you can cast it now because it does give 5 mana to the second one, which is enough to get it full. Then it gives 5 mana and a berry to the first one, so it all works together. And like I said, it's slowly happening. I promise it's coming out here. And like I said, you can adjust the speed settings in YouTube, which is kind of nice. Take the skulls in yellow. Actually, I don't need yellow, but so I might have just gotten bored at this point and just tried to kill this thing. I don't know why I threw that. I think I'm actually letting this thing die now. No, there we go. And the minute keeps coming up. Kill something. Stop throwing on blue. I think I just got scared here. Just gonna lose the Dwarven Gate and lose the match somehow. Like I said, in hindsight, it might have been smarter just to let the Dwarven Gate kind of just die, and of course, this glass golem fires off and destroys my barrier, and it's getting lower and lower. So I do want to get that. Do want to get that stupid copycat dead, because then at least we're only fighting. We're not going to have mana creation on their side and card creation. It's just going to be fighting. Looks like a bunch of glass golems. Let's see. Well, now I think I do lose at the first Dwarven Gate at some point here. Yep. Okay, now let's see. And we're just kind of taking our time here. I went for blue. Come on, be more aggressive. Go for the yellow purple. But the Dwarven Gate's come this far. Let's see. So we get that up. Cast the other one, get the other one up, and like I said, at least when you're casting your Dwarven Gate, you're getting mana into your bottom 2 troops, so it's not a total waste. But again, I'm sure everyone wants to see how this goes. So now we have that third troop within lethal damage range. Just need a couple more 4 matches to get me some reflex, get that extra 8 damage, and where is it? There we go. Come on. Just needed 1 more. And of course I miss everything with that. There's a good 4. Take the yellow, you get the purple. Oh, should have done it the other way. God, I hate watching myself sometimes. Oh, great. Now we got 2 of the glass golems casting. And there it is. Alright. And I was saying here I got excited, so I just killed her instead of taking the green like I should have. I didn't need it, but alright, so now we just gotta chip away at these guys, and it just slowly is gonna happen. As you see, this now it gets a lot easier because, like I said, you're only facing skull damage. There's no constant mana creation. They do use yellow, so obviously I'm throwing my copycat on the Mirrored Queen, which is yellow-purple. And like I said, I'm just going after the first one, figuring it's probably best just try and kill this thing. Pray for skulls, take all the yellows you can and blues off the board, which is tough because you need, every time you throw the copycat, you're going to be creating yellows, blues, or purples, so it's, it is an uphill battle, but eventually you get the thing, we'll get this thing down and we'll get there. Like I said, I just focus on taking yellows and blues, even to the point where I've had to die. I let the first guy die because the second guy's not going anywhere. Should have just let him do some skull baiting, and there it is. Finally, that first one died. Of course, now I'm like, well, what can I do? I could take a skull hit, or I could just cast on the glass golem and see if I get my own glass golem. Because really, you just want to meat shield at this point. Like I said, that second guy is going to take them. In the neighborhood of 10 hits to kill me. So figured let's try a Mirrored Queen, see if we can do a little bit extra attack here, because she can take 2 hits, and I got a barrier now. So, woohoo! Yes, fire. And what I'm looking at too sometimes is, can I, is there anywhere I can take something to get the other Mirrored Queen up? So here we are with the Mirrored Queen. And like I said, the big thing here is getting 2 attackers to go after this first troop. He's going to get a lot of armor every time I cast, and unfortunately, 3 of your 4 troops use yellow. One of them uses blue, so it's pretty tough. Pretty much every time you throw the copycat, you have potential to feed first troop. The plan here was just take as much yellow and purple off the board as you can, and just hit with as many skulls as you can. He only has 25% damage reduction, and just keep going, and hope you get a good run. Of course, then you lose your Mirrored Queen again. At this point, that thing's not going to kill my Dwarven Gate. So like I said, we're just going to keep going, and I did speed up the video to 200% just to keep it going even faster, because it's the same thing over and over again. In some moments like this, I'm just trying to copy my Mirrored Queen, just again to be able to get 2 attackers versus just 1. Of course, it's been very unsuccessful for me. And like I said, the reason I don't throw the Mirrored Queen is because you have a 50% chance to give yourself a glass golem, which doesn't do you a whole lot. So I'm just kind of trying to get as many, again, fire that off because you get 5 mana into the first troop. There's a great example of he cast on himself and, blows up a skull, and you lose your barrier on the first troop. Like I said, I'm just trying to get as much into my first and fourth troop as I can, just to attack this golem as fast as possible. And again, we just keep going back and forth here for a bit. And like I said, at this point, the individual moves aren't that important. What's really important is that he can only give himself armor and really hit me with skulls, so it's not, it's not really that big of a deal. You're pretty assured you're going to win because that Dwarven Gate's going to be real hard for that glass column to get around. So I'm just trying to, like I said, get a couple good hits in a row and get into his, start chipping away at his life. Then you make some decisions here too, like is it even worth taking skulls? Like I said, just keep taking yellows and blues and try and keep them off the board, but then you got to cash your copycat to speed things up a bit, and this is what happens. Sometimes you can leave a good board for the other side, and you get a couple skull hits like that, and it just goes poorly for you. So let's just keep going here. Come on, got to be something here on the board. And there we go. Luckily we got some purples there. So I think at this point I'm just like, yeah, just let him hit my Dwarven Gate a few times, trying to get another mirrored queen up. Luckily she comes up full, get a hit in, and fire her off. Keep firing her off, trying to kill him, and then there he goes, he's dead. So that's a good thing. And of course the reflect now puts the first mirrored queen in lethal damage, and random skull there kind of gets me. And at this point I'm just getting lazy, and it's like, I gotta get rid of these stupid things because they keep. So I fire off on them, and I get my golem, and figured, you know what, it just get him full and just never fire him unless I'm gonna. Like what you see there is I'm looking around for some sort of place to explode where I can either get a floor match or some skull damage, because again, with you doing 85 damage and him only having 25%, it does a decent amount of damage. So like I said, same thing, just keep away from blue and yellow. And these glass columns, these ones are a little less powerful, so they're going to get a lot less mana for each cast. And like I said, I'm not really concerned about taking skulls to save the first one. I'm more about taking it just to do damage. Because again, if the first guy dies, I really don't care. Just create another one. You can see I left the skulls there. He obviously didn't take them, which pissed me off, but whatever. It happens. And again, chipping away. We got 2 down. Or we got this guy almost dead. Of course, now he gets 40 more life, and there we go, dead. And we're going to keep chipping away at the next one. The other interesting thing too is with reflect, the glass column is going to keep reflecting, and so you got to keep an eye, make sure that your last mirrored queen there doesn't die from a reflect. Again, you can always use the first troop to blow up a skull to get rid of the reflect, and then hit him with the mirrored queen. But again, it just takes so long. And there I just fed him perfectly. It's just, I just really thought this wasn't going to go on. I mean, I just really thought this was going to go on forever. So, like I said, I'm just trying to hope that I can get out of this thing. And slowly we start chipping away. And I think we get it. Right there, I just did that for skull damage. And he didn't fire for some reason. Boom, there we go. So finally we get everything. There's your level 500 fraction, done. And probably never coming back. So good luck to everyone. I hope you guys are successful. And thanks for sticking with it.